Hey, let's talk about conformity. You know, one of the biggest problems I think that we have as a society is conformity. We don't think for ourselves. And, you know, I read this quote in it's actually in the book, The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. And he talks about this quote from Rollo May from the book, A Man's Search for Himself. And it says, the opposite of courage is not cowardness, it's conformity. And man, that book, Man's Search for Himself, was written back in 53, but it is so relevant today. We haven't learned what they were doing back in 53 and conforming. We're doing the same thing today. And this is true when we're transitioning out of the military, too. We are just conforming. I'm not saying everybody, but it seems to be the safe thing. We're taking the safe road. We're taking a job. We don't know why. Well, we know why, because it's money, right? We want to make more money. We've been told a lot of our life that, man, we can make so much more money once we get out of the military. And, yeah, there are high paying jobs out there. But to tell you the truth, when you get to retirement age, or, the amount of years that you have under your belt when you get to retirement in the military, you're making decent money. And your retirement pay is going to be really decent. So you don't have to conform and just get in line and work for corporate if you don't want to. You can do and find what you really love. But not too many people do that. There's surveys that say 5% of the population actually get in a job and get in a job where they can become financially free by the time they retire at age 65. And again, I think this is because they're conforming. We're taking jobs that we don't love, that we don't necessarily, that aren't built around our strengths, but they're available and they're a job. So we just take them because that's what everybody says we need to do. And we don't. We could find that perfect fit, the perfect fit for us. And all you got to do is you got to figure out how much money you need to earn once you get out of the military. So take your retirement pay plus disability and whatever else you have coming in and figure out what you need to make. And I'm telling you, I fell right in that conformity line as well. I took a job at the VA. It was the first job offer that came around. I jumped at it. It was decent money. I said, "Hey, this is good. This plus my retirement pay, man, I'm going to be well over 100K a year, and man, that's going to be sweet." Well, you know what it got me? A lot of stress. I didn't like the job. I was working labor relations. So all I was doing was disciplinary work all day long, every day for a freaking year. And I hated it. At my 3, 4 month mark, I hated it. I had a really good boss there for a while. And man, I would have worked for him forever in a miserable job because I liked him so much. I respected him so much. But then he left and, you know, things went downhill from there. But I mean, I never liked doing what I was doing. And when you retire from the military, I want you to find a job that allows you to do what you love. Use your skills, use your talents. Don't conform. Don't get in line like everybody else and just accept that job. So, what does that look like, not conforming? Well, I think it starts with self awareness. You got to know yourself. And believe me, I don't know myself as much as I should. And chances are you don't know yourself as much as you should. I mean, we all have blind spots, and we should continuously work on uncovering these blind spots. And you do that by taking assessments. You do that by asking other people specific questions. You do that by polling your friends. What do you do? What are you good at? How do other people see you? because I'll guarantee it's probably different than what you see yourself. What value do you bring to others? Well, we think we bring one value, but it may not be what other people think we bring. So we got to ask them. We got to get real. We got to be vulnerable. We have to grow some thick skin. We need to take some really good criticism and really good compliments. You know, we conform when it comes to compliments. We're saying, well, don't be prideful. Well, it's not prideful if somebody says, man, you're great at this. Say thank you. You know, don't boast about it, but just say, hey, thank you. You know, that was a God-given gift that you have. That's what you should be using when you get out of the military. And there's jobs out there for you. I'll guarantee it. For me, it turned out to be coaching and training. And that's what I do. I've been a leadership coach for 9 years. It's been up and down and good and bad. But you know what? It has provided that gap that I needed to live the lifestyle that I wanted to live. There's been some tough times, I'm not going to lie. And it's worth it because I'm doing what I love to do. You know, and I want to help you. I want you to get the job that you love because you're worth it. You're better than just conforming with what everybody else tells you to do. You're better than that. So instead of just looking for the typical job, start by really looking deep, diving deep into yourself and figuring out what your strengths are, what your behavioral style is, what your communication style is. What are you on a DISC assessment? What Enneagram number are you? What Myers-Briggs conformist, or combination are you? There's all kinds of assessments. StrengthsFinder is a great assessment. Personally, I work with the DISC. Every one of my clients, it's the first thing we start with. I give them a DISC. I make a personalized video for them. And the first session that we coach is nothing but DISC. Actually, the first session is usually getting to know them and really, because just talking to them and getting to know them, I instantly see the value that they bring to a team. And then we dive into the DISC. And, you know, when you take a DISC, it's almost shocking how much it reveals about you. Every time I take it, it's like, oh my gosh, that is so true. And people, I go through their DISC results and they're like, how do you know this about me? I'm like, well, the DISC doesn't lie. I've been working with it for nearly 15, 20 years and it doesn't lie. Now in the Air Force, I took DISCs every 3-4 years and they'd bring somebody in and they'd give us a 2-3 hour briefing on, you know, what our results were, but they never followed up with it. They never told us how we can use that. That's what I help people do. I help you use that information because once you know about yourself, now you know exactly what you should be doing. And I always tell people, instead of conforming, start thinking about what do you love when you're not working? What do you do when you're not working? Because that's the stuff that you love. That's the stuff that you're attracted to. Now, you got to figure out how can you earn income doing something that's related to that. Because it's a combination of what you love, what you're passionate about, and what you're really good at. So if you could get the center of that, that's what we call your sweet spot. And if you can get a job that really allows you to utilize the gifts in your sweet spot, you're going to be the most fulfilled person in the world. You're going to make a difference. You're going to go from not only being successful, but for being significant. And that's where the magic is. That's where the balanced life comes in. Because you get up, you get out of bed, and you get to do what you love to do. That's not conforming. You ask anybody why they work, and they're going to say, I don't know. I don't know why I work. I work to make money. That's not a good enough reason to work. You should really enjoy your job. And I know this is like upside down backwards for a lot of people. And a lot of people, there's doubters out there, and that's conforming. We are programmed to say, no, we can't do that. We're programmed to say, there's no way that I can get a job doing what I love and making the money that I want to make. That's society. And they want us to believe that. But I'm telling you, you can do it. I'm doing it. I love coaching. I love helping other people. I love teaching. That's what I'm doing. And I love it. And I do it right from the comfort of my own home, my office here. Sure, I teach sometimes live classes. I go to different companies and train them half day, full day workshops. But a lot of my coaching, a lot of my training, and a lot of my teaching is right here in my office. So this is my real background, and this is where I am most of the time. You could do it too. You know, a lot of people say, well, I love hunting, and I can't make a living hunting. Well, there's people that do. There's people that sell guns. There's people that sell hunting equipment. There's people that train how to shoot. There's people that own target ranges, right? Like shooting ranges. I had a couple of young men that I coached shortly after they graduated high school, and I went through this process with them, and I said, what do you really love doing? And they're like, well, I don't know. I love doing this and this and this, and I love, shooting my bow. I love shooting my bow. And I was like, oh, okay, so you probably go to the local archery range, right? And they're like, no, there is no local archery range. And I'm like, why don't you start one? There's so many places around town where you could buy a building, rent a building, get a little bit piece of property. Yeah, you might have to invest, but you know what? That's an investment worth taking. I don't know where there's any local archery ranges where you can go and shoot. And archery is a big thing. And if people love hunting and love archery hunting, I mean, why not get involved in something like that? And you're around other people that have that passion. When I coach people on leadership and I coach clients, the coolest thing is I don't coach with people who just don't want to be leaders. All right. If you don't want to be a leader, I don't want to coach you. I want to coach those people that are passionate about being leaders, that want to grow, that want to learn, that want to be the best that they can be. And when you don't conform, that's when you start coming out of that shell and where you can be the best that you can actually be. And that's what I want for you. I want you to be the best that you can actually be. And you can't be that if you're just conforming. So the opposite of what was the saying? The opposite of or cowardice and conformity is the opposite of, I forget what he said now, but don't conform. All right, don't conform. Go back and watch the beginning of that video. The opposite, that conformity is killing us all. I mean, you don't have to look at much further than the elections that are going on now. We got two people that most of the people that are voting don't want those two people. And I've heard so many people say that's the best that we can do. Why is that? Because people are conforming. That's it. Stop conforming. Start thinking. Start going after the job that you really, really, truly love. That's going to bring you success, a balanced life, and fulfillment. Go from success to significance. And when you're doing the job that you love and working with the people that you love to be around, that is when you're significant because you're really making a difference using the gifts and the talents that God gave you.